days for under $10 a day. There are 2 college football games Tuesday night, 4 NFL and 2 college football games on Thanksgiving, 16 college football games on Black Friday, plus a full Saturday and Sunday of college football and NFL action. Add in any NBA, college basketball, and NHL action, and it's an awesome week of sports. We are so very thankful that you are current or maybe a new client of WagerTalk, and we want to give you our best once-a-year price for a 7-day all-sport, all-access package. Enjoy the holiday with family and friends, and don't worry about missing plays throughout the week if you're traveling. That's right, only $69 for 7 full days of college football, NFL, NBA, college hoops, NHL, and any other plays your favorite capper releases. Happy Thanksgiving and safe travels for those hitting the road from our WagerTalk family to yours.
Hey guys, welcome in and happy Tuesday to you. Happy Thanksgiving week. We're excited here because, well, college basketball is on our mind. Time for another edition of the College Basketball Tip-Off Show powered by WagerTalk.com. Couple of games already underway on the card here today. Some big games still to come here. We got a couple of the Blue Bloods that we're going to go ahead and break down for you. We're going to do it today with one of our favorite crews here. We welcome back in Mr. Creighton First Half. Matt Joseph's in the house, as is Ralph Michaels, and of course, Dave Koken here for you. And Ralph, love these little mini tournaments right around this time. It's always a fun time of year for college basketball. Any words of wisdom here this early in the college basketball season with these types of tournaments from a handicapping perspective?
Well, not necessarily with tournaments, but I will tell you a mistake I made. Again, part of this show is to give you advice. Part of it's to make you better bettors. And even handicapping after all this year, I find myself making this mistake early in the season. And what I did is I looked at teams that were very good shooting teams with everyone back this year and started off slow. And I thought it was an anomaly and they would automatically get better the next game. Northern Iowa comes to mind. They struggled against Vermont. The next day they struggled shooting again from 3-point range. So, when you have these teams and it's a new season, yes, if they were a good shooting team and they start off slow, don't make the assumption they could just turn the corner. I did, and it cost me 2 losses. I made that adjustment now, and we're getting a little deeper into the season, but just something to share with people early on in the year.
All right, good stuff there. Love it. And Matt Joseph, sportsmemo.com is where you can catch him here, guys. Matt, has the season been going, man? What do you got available over at sportsmemo.com?
Well, I mean, it's moving, and a lot of the times I'm getting a lot of the lines that I want in these games the night before because there's just been some incredible movement. Some case in point, I mean, the George Mason Nevada totals moved 8 or 9 points, and you look at some of these other totals that are moving a bunch of points. So I'm starting to become more of a overnight kind of guy, especially if there's a number I really like, and it's been the advantage. I'm not going to wave around a CLV trophy, but it's always nice to be on the positive side, even if those games lose. But got some college basketball tonight and MACtion, of course. The last Tuesday of the college football season, we've got some MAC football for you tonight.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my it's a fun time of year for sure. And Dave, if you guys are new to the show, Dave Koken, best bets in college basketball, the only ones that are going up, the cream of the crop for you this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, anything smaller I'm just giving out free. And those plays have been back and forth so far, but the best bets have been pretty good, the 9 and 5. And I've got one later today that I think has a good chance to win. So you can grab that along with anything else I've got at WagerTalk.com.
Get over there, guys. Great information. All right, let's dive in here. A couple of games on tap. And what better place to start, guys? UCLA taking on the Zags. 5.5 as an opening number. 156.5 for the opening total here. We've got 2 teams with wins against top 10 opponents already. We know they win, and they win big here. So, Matt, I'll come to you because I know you're going to be all over UCLA in this game here. So give me your thoughts about these top 2 teams here tonight going head-to-head.
Well, it's not that I'm not going to be on UCLA. I mean, look, the UCLA line looks very juicy at 7 because this is a team that obviously these two squads have played each other last year in the Final Four, and they know a little bit about each other. But it's going to be interesting to see the clash of styles here. You know, Gonzaga wants to run. They want to get up and down, and UCLA wants to play slow. But the problem is if they start playing half-court offense, then you've got to go against the Gonzaga defense that's got two twin towers here in Chet Holmgren and Drew Timme. You know, look, Holmgren's been really good in the games that haven't mattered for Gonzaga. If you look, the one time he played poorly, it was against Texas. So I'll be interested to see if he shrinks a little bit in the spotlight of this game, or can he step up and be the guy who scores 12, 15 points in this game. The Cody Riley injury is huge. How long can Miles Johnson stay in there? Will they double team Drew Timme on the inside, or will they single him and try and make sure that everybody else stays intact here? The one thing I always play in Gonzaga games is the first half over. It's a team that comes out really well. It's hit 3 of the 5 games so far. It's something I'm going to play every time. I'm just going to adjust the unit size. We know that UCLA doesn't want to run here, but I think Gonzaga gets their pace going, and I like the first half over here. I think we see plenty of points in this first half, then some halftime adjustments get made, and maybe it becomes a little bit more of a tighter second half.
All right. Well, both played last night, Dave. Both won. So when they go head-to-head tonight, what do you think we're going to get from these two?
Well, UCLA went through the motions last night. I think they were clearly looking forward to this game. And, you know, this is the game of the year as far as the regular season is concerned in college basketball. Just because of the fact that that Final Four contest last year was one of the greatest college basketball games ever. An absolutely amazing game to the Bruins and Gonzaga. And, you know, UCLA's got this one circled. I mean, it's not, you can't call it revenge because it's not as big a setting. I mean, it's a tournament in Las Vegas, or it's a game in Las Vegas, as opposed to the Final Four. So it's not the same thing. But I do think UCLA really wants this one in a big way. I think they basically took last night off and just managed to get through the game against Bellarmine with a win. I think they only got to the free throw 6 times last night, and they made 1. Got to do better than that tonight. It's going to be defense versus offense. I think it's going to be close. Will it be as exciting as what we saw last year in the Final Four? No, it can't be. It can't be that good. But I think it's going to be a real battle and a test of wills, with one team wanting to go fast and the other one wanting to muck things up. I'll take the muck things up side with the points. UCLA +7. Not going to make my card, but I might throw a couple of bucks on it just for fun, because I'm definitely going to be watching this game.
So, Ralph, I mean, how close, in your opinion, are these two teams? And does it worry you that teams are shooting about 43% from 3 against the UCLA Bruins? Can the Zags take advantage of that?
Well, sure they can. The Zags can take advantage of everyone on offense. I mean, they're that good. You know, the interesting matchup for me, you know, Matt touched on it, is the height edge that the Zags have. I mean, you know, UCLA's front line, 6'7", 6'7", 6'10". You know, the Zags a couple inches in all those spots. So that'll be the interesting thing. You know, Dave said muck it up, UCLA, and we know Mick Cronin back to, you know, his old stomping grounds. Cincinnati was one of the slowest paced teams. Last year, his tempo was crazy slow. The interesting thing this year is they have not played slow. They're, in fact, in the top 50 as far as go on offense. They've been shooting the ball every 15.6 seconds. So, you know, I think they are going to run. They're going to have to run to keep up with the Zags. I think the Zags' offense good enough to set the tempo. So I wholeheartedly agree with Matt. I like the Zags over in their last game against Central Michigan first half. I played first half because they were playing the next night. I like them again here. I do like the Zags over in the first half.
All right. Liking the Zags first half over there. Both teams can certainly rebound as well. So should be a great matchup here tonight, guys. UCLA taking on the Zags in Las Vegas for the Maui Invitational. Don't ask. All right, let's move on, guys. Let's take a look here also at the Maui Invitational as we look at Oregon taking on St. Mary's. Now, St. Mary's, nice win last night, came down to the wire against Notre Dame. Oregon got back to its winning ways against Chaminade here. 1.5 as well. But the 1.5 in that one there. A 3-1 Oregon team, Dave, a 5-0 St. Mary's team here. 133 for a total. How do you approach this one?
Yeah, I mean, Oregon won last night, but they weren't good. They were only up 5 at the half against Chaminade. It's Chaminade. They put them away in the second half. And prior to that, Oregon off an absolutely awful game. So normally Dana Altman teams are kind of slow out of the gate. It looked like, Oregon might be quicker out of the gate this year. And then they had that disaster against BYU. And they didn't play very well last night. So I don't think Oregon has it all together yet. St. Mary's, a couple of really good players. Guzzi's solid. Blanking on the kid's name, went for about 22 last night, but he had probably the best game of his career. I kind of like the St. Mary's team. They were a little bit down last year, but I think Randy Bennett's got a better team this year. By the end of the season, Oregon will be better than St. Mary's. But Dana Altman really, look, his pattern's clear over the years. He doesn't care about November. It's just mix and match. Go out there, see what happens. Try and get cohesive a Pac-12 play later on and peak at the right time. He's the West Coast version of Tom Izzo, who has done that for years at Michigan State. You really don't want to put too much stock into what happens early in the season with Spartans basketball because it's late in the season when they come together. I think that'll be the case for Oregon. Right now, I think St. Mary's is probably a little better basketball team. So right now, I would lean to the Gales to get the win in this game.
Yeah, a lot of people, Matt, there was some money that came in future-wise for St. Mary's to win this at a pretty good price. Them and Notre Dame kind of the dark horses here. So what do you think we're going to get here? Tough to go against Dana Altman, but at this point in the season, how are you going to look at it?
Well, it's funny because you look at the Maui Invitational and usually the teams that are in it, and this year it's all teams that are seemingly in like the 300s and the low 200s in tempo. Like this is arguably probably the slowest preseason, in-season tournament of all time. My goodness, because you look at Oregon, they don't want to go, and St. Mary's certainly doesn't want to go. The interesting thing here is you look at Oregon, they play that zone. They're getting beat more inside, it looks like. Their 2-point percentage allowed is rather terrible. And you've got a St. Mary's team. And by the way, Dave, the guy who's Fotu, Dan Fotu was the guy who had 22 last night. Fotu. And I think he's a key tonight. Look, St. Mary's has some shooters, but they're kind of, Kuzi, as Dave mentioned, and then Fotu's a good shooter, and Dukas shoots the threes. He's not very good at them, but I think they're going to have to make a couple. The other thing here is you look at St. Mary's. St. Mary's prevents a lot of offensive rebounds, whereas Oregon crashes the boards, and that's what they do. They're very good at getting offensive rebounds. They're good at not turning the ball over. St. Mary's doesn't turn the ball over too. I agree with Dave. If you go by the pattern of Dana Altman here, he doesn't care as much about this game, and St. Mary's is playing better basketball. The West Coast Conference is playing great basketball as a whole, so I agree with him. I lean to the Gales in this one.
So, Ralph, I'm going to go ahead and destroy our producer, Robert, here for a second, because he's a Texas Southern grad. And it just so happens these two schools, well, they've got something in common. They both beat up on Texas Southern this year. So when you look at where Oregon is right now, where St. Mary's is right now, seems to be a common theme here. Is St. Mary's the better basketball team, in your opinion, at this point?
Well, I think Dave said it correctly. Yeah, at this point, yes, and they're playing better. You look at Oregon; they're struggling. Their shooting percentage is not good. And you're looking at defenses they've played, of SMU, where they did score 86 points, but scoring 49 points in the BYU game, the Chaminade game does not make that better. Completely agree, St. Mary's is the way to go. And not only, I think this is a circle the wagons game for St. Mary's. You're talking about a team that always finishes second to the Zags, and people talk about their schedule. For them to get a win against Oregon that could fit in the top 20, top 25 team at the end of the year, I think motivation-wise, it's men against boys, where St. Mary's has complete motivation, and Oregon they went through the motion last night with Chaminade, and I expect them to do it again. You know what? While the number's low, I make the number lower. Yeah, I almost used this as a client play. I'm looking where I made the number. I made the number 126. So first team to 60 wins. Give me the Gales and give me the under.
All right, looking at the Gales and the under in this one. That leaves us one more here. We're going to head over to Cincinnati. Oh, not Cincinnati. We're going to watch Cincinnati, but we're going to head to Kansas City for the Hall of Fame Classic as Cincinnati takes on Coach Musselman. And Arkansas here opens up as a 5.5, 6, 142 as a total here. And that game against Kansas State, Matt, was interesting with Arkansas last night. They kind of got out to a big lead, held on there towards the end. But we know what we're going to get from an Eric Musselman team here in Arkansas. We're going to get defense. We're going to get a lot of speed. How do you approach this?
Well, I mean, now obviously, look, players when they join the transfer portal and go to new teams, they're obviously trying to fit, but sometimes you don't have good fits. I mean, if you look, Chris Likes fits this offense perfectly. Like, he's literally an Eric Musselman guy, and he just does what this offense needs and what Eric Musselman needs in his teams. And you look at this Arkansas squad, and they're going to want to get up and down. And the question is, will Cincinnati do it? Now, Cincinnati doesn't usually do it. Arguably one of the best hires, besides what I feel like Kim English and George Mason, is Wes Miller going to Cincinnati. I mean, what he's been able to do with this team, besides bringing some of those kids back that had previously left. I mean, you look at this squad, the one weakness Arkansas has had so far this season is three-point shooting defense. And you look at this Cincinnati roster, and it's pretty much Jeremiah Davenport who does it. Everybody else is shooting poorly. I mean, David DeJulius is 5 of 18. Micah Adams-Woods is 4 of 15. I think Cincinnati's been a very good story so far, but I feel like this is the type of game where Arkansas puts their pedal to the metal here. I think Arkansas gets a solid win here. I think that Cincinnati's just not going to be able to slow them down. And I think what's going to happen here is you're going to see the deficiencies on offense, and just Cincinnati's just not going to get enough stops in this one. Arkansas's a better Illinois than Illinois is right now, so I like the Razorbacks.
All right, likes the Razorbacks. I mean, Dave, that was an impressive win against Illinois. I don't know if it says more about Illinois or Cincinnati, but they were down 23-8 to start that game and clawed their way back into it. So what do you think their chances are here?
It's tough to put anything into Illinois games right now because Illinois guard play is about as bad as it gets. And that's something they better fix before the Big Ten gets rolling. I mean, they got Coburn back last night, but the guard play has just been horrific. I think the shooting guard had nothing last night for Cincinnati, for Illinois. So I just didn't put a lot into that game. I think this comes down to, and this is a real simplified analysis, but I think Arkansas is just too athletic for Cincinnati. And I think they'll be able to force the pace and eventually get a fairly easy win in this game. I made the number 9, so I think it's a little bit on the cheap side. And it's really all I've got to say on the game. I think there's slight value on the Arkansas side. Not enough for me to actually bet it, but I would look for the Razorbacks. If you're going to make a bet on the game, I'd go Razorbacks minus the points.
All right, Razorbacks minus the points. Yeah, it was funny. We talked about this game yesterday, Ralph, against Kansas State. I said, I'm watching Chris Likes, from here in Miami. He's coming off the bench. He's dropping 20 points in a game. I'm saying Musselman just got depth, and that's the kind of players he's got coming in off the bench. Pretty impressive here so far, but can't take anything away from Cincinnati either at 5-0. What do you think?
Yeah, I remember us talking numerous times last year when Likes went out for Miami. We were running to the window to try to bet Pittsburgh. They were missing 3 starters that one game when they all went out. So I mean, they were, that's how you tell how important a player is when he is missing, how the team struggles in his absence. I'm going to go opposite both the guys, and to me, it's eye test. I don't think Arkansas is off to a fluid start. Yes, they beat Northern by 13, and yes, they beat Gardner-Webb by 17, and Kansas State by 8. But I look at the defense Cincinnati's playing, and I'm going to say, Miller has them playing that well. Remember, we had all 30 practices this summer, and a new coach can put his staple into a program. To me, looking at the eye test, I think Cincy's 3-point defense gives them the edge here. I'm going to go against my 2 cohorts who I rarely would do, as knowledgeable as they are. But to me, what I saw last night, I think I am backing Cincinnati today, clearly.
All right, back in Cincinnati. Great job at the free throw line to close that out for Kansas State, by the way, also there for Eric Musselman and Arkansas. Should be a hell of a game, guys. All three of these games tonight should be interesting. So now it's time to take a look and see if there's a game here on the card that maybe these guys like a little bit more than the others. And Dave, I'll come to you. Remind you guys, Dave's best bet already up, locked, and loaded, along with a few other treats at WagerTalk.com. Make sure you visit his page there. How about it, Dave? Which one of these do you like a little more than the other?
Yeah, the only bet I'm going to have tonight, because I didn't play anything in the NHL tonight. It's a short schedule, and I didn't like anything. And I've only got the one best bet going later today in college basketball. So that's the only play I've got. And they're 9-5 so far, so I'm real happy with those results, and I think I've got a good chance to be 10-5 after this game. So none of these games that we talked about today are bets for me. But I probably will make an amusement wager, which I almost never do. But I think I'll, and I'm not for real money. Okay, this will be one of those $20 pizza bets just to have a little more rooting interest. I got to take UCLA plus the points and hope it lives up to billing. If it's anything resembling what we saw in the Final Four last year, I'll be glued to the TV for 2 hours and 20 minutes or however long the game takes. I think I'm making this more in hopes that it's entertaining more than anything else, because Gonzaga could get him. But I took UCLA plus the 7 for fun, and we'll see how it turns out.
All right, good stuff there. Talk to me here, Maddie. Where are you going here on the card tonight? You got a game you like a little more than the others?
So I think these in-season tournaments present good opportunities to get teams at smaller numbers. And look, everybody's got their own little strategy when it comes to this stuff, but I like taking smaller money line favorites just to kind of take out the shenanigans, fouling three-point shooters at the end of regulation like Yale did. I don't know how that finished up, but I like Toledo today.
They're heading to double overtime.
See, but that's something I don't necessarily need to have to worry about covering numbers. So I'm taking the Toledo money line. And look, it's all about juice tolerance. Look, if you don't like taking a money line like that, you could take the spread. I think Toledo is clearly the better team besides Tulane. You look at this Rockets offense outside of that Oakland game, they've been really good this year, and their defense is not necessarily spectacular. But what the heck has Tulane done this year? I've made money fading them against Southeast Louisiana. I made money fading against them in Southern. Yeah, they look good against Florida State, but we've gotten kind of a mixed bag when it came to Florida State. And then they had that weird game against Drexel yesterday that went to overtime. They switched gymnasiums. They had the long rest period where they were fixing some things. I think it was the lights was the issue there. So Tulane had a long quote. Oh, that's right. It was a leak.
Yeah, had a leak in the roof. Yeah, first college basketball game with a 5-hour rain delay.
It was something, because then there was the lights thing in another place. So, yeah, they had all these rain delays and things like that. And so they had all this stuff to deal with against Drexel, and now they got a really good Toledo team. I just think the Rockets are in a better place. I don't really want to worry about this spread here, so I took the Toledo money line. I think they're the way better team than Tulane in this game.
It's the only basketball game you got to bring your own umbrella in. It's kind of crazy. Ralph, never going to another one of those games, Ralph. Talk to me here. Which game do you like?
Well, it's early in the year, and and by no means do kids get worn out playing back-to-back games. But Cincinnati used 10 players yesterday that played between 12 and 29 minutes. 29 minutes was their top player. Arkansas used 7, including a couple guys that played over 35. I'm gonna go with that, and I'm gonna back the Bearcats as a best bet here.
All right, going with the Bearcats here. I'm looking at a total here, guys, and I'm going to look at the Texas Tech Red Raiders Nebraska Omaha game. It opened up at around 138. It has been bet up, and it should be bet up as the Red Raiders are averaging about 85, 86 points here a game. And I do think Omaha will be able to deliver at least enough to be able to get this into the 140s, if not 150. So I'm going to go over the total with the Red Raiders and Nebraska Omaha. And just a quick recap here, guys, of the best bets across the board. And a reminder, of course, that we have our Gold Sheet play of the day. And that is leaning towards Arkansas in here. So in agreement with Dave Matt here that Arkansas might be the way to lean in this one. Don't forget that full write-up, guys, can be found at WagerTalk's Twitter page. Always great information available. Great handicapping tool to have available to you guys. Head over to goldsheet.com, take advantage of it, and read the write-up. All right, and a recap of all the best bets here today on the show. Cincinnati +5 for Ralph. Dave likes UCLA plus the 7. Matt says deal with the money line here, guys. Don't sweat it out. Toledo minus 140 here. I'm going to go over the Texas Tech and Nebraska-Omaha game. And the Gold Sheet does like Arkansas laying the 5. Hopefully you guys will hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Make plans to join us again tomorrow as we head into Thanksgiving, getting you ready for the rest of these tournaments and college basketball. But in the meantime, guys, best of luck with your plays tonight. Come back and join us again tomorrow. Good luck. We'll talk to you then.
Sign up for the free WagerTalk text club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.